he did have due process. Everything we know about him is documented because he did go through the court systems. He was stopped for trafficking. His wife did file these domestic violence charges against him. He was arrested with MS-13 members with a roll of cash that had the eyes and the ears and the mouths of the presidents erased, which is an MS-13 markings. This is all non-disputed. So
nothing you're talking about
doesn't stop halfway.
But I'm saying he already got his due process and he got a deportation order.
No.
So
the process isn't finished because the judge told them not to do it. So due process doesn't stop when you like the outcome. It's a whole process. So that's why we have
what you guys are doing. Like when they side with the criminals, it's due process, and when they side against the criminals, suddenly they do.
I've been giving this a lot of thought because
like.
I want to actually make sure the things that I come up here and argue, I actually believe in. And so I was thinking, I was like, am I just against this because Donald Trump is saying? I'm not.
I really admire that.
I'm not. But the thing that makes me better than the criminal is that I treat them with humanity and dignity despite of what they have done. And that when their judgment is placed on, then they have to live with it. But I cannot assign judgment to people because I don't like something. We have a system of law, and I would hope that the same due process that I received, that everyone's received. That's what makes our country.
Because you are an American citizen, you get more due process.
that is what makes our country wonderful. Is because it's for people in this land.
No, you know what, Batia, except the one the Democrats
Batia,
are
I think you are right. Hold on, you're actually right to a degree that in this particular instance, he is going through an immigration process. But even in that process, which is largely administrative, it's not a jury situation, it's not as lengthy and as detailed, it's the standard is not beyond a reasonable doubt, it's the preponderance of evidence. Even by that standard, they did not, according to several judges, give him that process. So they didn't even give him a truncated process.
They sent him to the wrong country. But in any other country he could be sent to, they could put him in prison, and they probably will, because he's a wife beater, and that's where he belongs.
Look,
I am not Salvadorian, I'm Mexican, but for Salvadorians and for Nayib Bukele, a putazos. That man that got deported to CCOT no es inocente. He's not a little angel. He has freaking Mara tattoos. And for the freaking people who live in the United States who are demanding for us to try to go get this man back, if he has an MS-13 tattoo, that means the gang saw him kill another person so that he was able to get that tattoo. This is how ignorant you guys be.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What do we have here? What do we have here? We have Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen meeting with an illegal immigrant, alleged gang member, wife beater, human trafficker in El Salvador. Now, when this image first came out, okay, everybody thought that the Democrat senator and his mission to go to El Salvador to break out the illegal immigrant and bring him back to the United States of America, they thought that it was successful, right? That this Democrat had convinced Nayib Bukele to release the illegal, because he was over there begging. I'm telling you, he was begging. He was basically saying that he's going to stay as long as he can, okay? He was fighting for this illegal harder than I've ever seen a Democrat fight for an American citizen that's not a criminal.
So I do intend to keep at this until we ensure that Mr. Abrego Garcia has his rights to due process, which is what the courts of the United States have called for. They have said that his abduction is illegal, and they have called upon him to be brought back to the United States.
Voy a seguir en esto mientras el señor Abrego García no tenga su debido proceso, porque las cortes de los Estados Unidos han establecido que fue raptado ilegalmente y que tiene que regresar a los Estados Unidos.
So I will keep at this, but I can assure you that while I may be the first senator and first member of the United States Congress to come here to El Salvador in this case, I certainly will not be the last. There'll be many more coming.
In a sudden turn of events, this is coming from Bukele's freaking Twitter account, saying that Kilmar mysteriously risen from the death camps and tortured, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in tropical paradise in El Salvador. I'm a loss for words. This is incredible. He's alive. The senator got to sit with him. I can't wait to hear what the senator has to say and what they were able to talk about. And is this some type of power play between El Salvador, Trump? Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, what's happening is that this senator is getting played, okay? Because now that this dude has been released, people are starting to see that, hey, this guy got a lot of tattoos, okay? Now, again, I can't really make out exactly what is on these tattoos on his finger, but I'm just saying, kind of, somewhat sort of looks like tattoos that a gang member will put on his fingers. And listen, I'm not saying that automatically means he's a gang member, but I mean, hey, 2 judges basically thought that he was a gang member. The police thought that he was a gang member when they arrested him. Okay, he's wearing all this gang paraphernalia, things that are consistent with what MS-13 tends to wear, what they tend to do, who they tend to hang out with. All of these things suggest this guy is probably a gang member, okay? And you have a Democrat sitting across the table from an alleged illegal immigrant gang member having drinks, right? Sipping them margaritas, okay? Sipping margaritas with a gang member that he happened to edit out in his picture, by the way. For whatever reason in his picture, he did not include the fact that he was drinking margaritas, right? Maybe that's not something he wanted his constituents to see, that he's having margaritas with gang members in El Salvador, right? Nayib Bukele put out this post. He says, Kilmar Abrego Garcia miraculously risen from the death camps and tortured, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. Now, there's a reason why this is so hilarious. Again, I'm going to tell you guys exactly why this is genius from Nayib Bukele. He actually, before he became a politician, I believe he was a marketing guy, right? So his expertise is in marketing, and you can tell from the way that he markets the country. The dude has done an amazing job. I think he's one of the best leaders in the world, to be honest with you. I wish that he was American so bad. I really do. But he says now that he's been confirmed, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody. Basically, he let the Democrat senator see the illegal immigrant gang member that he really wanted to see so much, and then pulled a rug from under him and told him that, hey, he's going to stay with us, right, in his home country because he is an El Salvador citizen. And then Nayib Bukele puts out this post and he says, I love chess. I love chess. Now, what does that mean? Why is Nayib Bukele saying that he loves chess? Well, it's very simple, because this type of optics for the Democrat Party is really, really, really bad, right? It's really, really, really bad to see a Democrat sitting at a table having margaritas with an illegal immigrant gang member, alleged wife beater, human trafficker, after flying all the way across the globe to rescue this man from his own country. Now, again, I asked the question of, how many times have you seen a Democrat show this much concern for an actual American citizen that was killed by illegal immigrants? How many times have you seen Democrats concerned about their family members, right? And what they're currently going through?
But we have to look at it as, we are American citizens. We need to protect our families, our borders, our children. I don't care about politics. Well, I do, but I want to preserve life. And that's the only reason why I have taken and spoken about Rachel all this time. If you're a mother here in the room, can you imagine standing there alive? You're alive, and someone comes and puts their hands into your chest and rips out your heart. That's what it feels like. It feels like a part of you is being ripped out of you. You can't even describe the pain. Just like you can't describe to your husband what it feels like to carry a baby in your womb, or to feel those first kicks, or to know just intuitively if it's a boy or a girl. It's only a thing that a mother knows. Why are we not protecting the American citizens? It's just common sense. Why are we not protecting our children? And to have a senator from Maryland who didn't even acknowledge or barely acknowledged my daughter and the brutal death that she endured, leaving her 5 children without a mother and now a grandbaby without a grandmother, so that he can use my taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador to bring back someone that's not even an American citizen. Why does that person have more right than I do, or my daughter, or my grandchildren? I don't understand this.
Maryland mother, Rachel Moran, Maryland daughter, Kayla Hamilton, both were killed by illegal immigrants let in this country under the Biden-Harris open border agenda. Zero outrage from Democrats. Where is Senator Chris Van Hollen? Where is he at? Where is he at? He's in El Salvador. I wonder, has he called Rachel Moran's mother, right? Has he talked to any of his constituents who have been victims of crimes by illegal immigrants? Oh, no, I guarantee you he hasn't, right? But he's sitting up in El Salvador sipping margaritas with an illegal. This is the modern day Democrat Party, folks. This is how extreme the Democrat Party is. And the reason why this is so genius from Nayib Bukele is because it puts on display. Everybody can see the priorities of the Democrat Party, that they are America last. Again, I ask, can anybody think of a time in which Democrats have worked this hard? This man flew across the globe. When is the last time that you could think of a Democrat working this hard for an American citizen that's not a criminal? Because, I can't think of some times they worked hard for American citizens, but they're criminals, right? Okay? Like George Floyd, for example, okay? But when you talk about law-abiding, upstanding citizens who are not illegals, who are not criminals, when is the last time a Democrat has worked this hard on behalf of an upstanding American citizen? I can't think of any time, honestly. I can't think of any time. I've never seen a Democrat work this hard for the American people. I've never seen it. They don't. Because they don't care about the average everyday American. It seems as if the Democrat Party is literally the party of the elites and the illegals. The elites and the illegals. Everybody else does not matter. They don't. Not to Democrats. So again, this is for the world to see, right? This is the priority of the Democrat Party, for everybody to see what they are so passionate about, what they're so concerned about. So now we know that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive, right? That he is healthy, okay? He's not dead, because they were putting out rumors that he died, right? So again, part of the genius of this move is that it shows that, again, this guy is not being tortured, right? He's not in a bad position. He's not living a bad life. Like, he's in his home country, right? He's home. Why are you trying to bring this guy back home? He is home. He's with his people, his amigos, okay? La Familia. That's who he's with, right? Why are you trying to take him away from his people? I don't get it. So again, it shows the media that, again, this dude is alive and well. He's not being mistreated. And all that outrage from the Democrats, again, it just looked kind of silly, right? This is what y'all concerned about? Try to get this dude back so he can go through, quote unquote, due process, even though he already has due process. He can go through due process again just to get deported somewhere else. I think that he's happier in El Salvador than he would be deported anywhere else. Because that's what will happen if he comes back to the United States. He'll get deported to somewhere else, right? Shit, next time, if he actually does come back, we should deport him to Africa, right? So that way he will have a real hard time trying to get back into the country. I'm just saying. So it's just funny to me because basically what this shows, again, is that the liberal media outrage is silly. This dude is fine. He's happy. He's cool. Okay. And, he's alive. So all that boohoo whining and crying can just stop, right? It can stop. And he's still going to stay in El Salvador. That's his home, right? That's his home. That's where he going to stay. So with that being said, there are some people who do understand that this is not a good move for the Democrats.
This is a political risk, though, you think. Why, Chris?
Well, if you look at the 2024 election, Marnie, Donald Trump won for two basic reasons. One, the economy. Two, immigration. Well, on the economy, he did the opposite of what he said he was going to do, lower prices, right? Tariffs were not that was not solving that problem. But on immigration, he promised he was going to crack down on people here illegally. Cut out all the other stuff around this case. This guy came to the United States illegally in 2011, and Donald Trump can continue to point to that and say, this is someone who came illegally. We are not supportive of that. And so I just think Democrats have to be careful that you don't fight the fights that Donald Trump wants you to fight. Candidly, politically speaking, I still think they should be talking about tariffs, the economy. Donald Trump says he was going to lower prices every day because that's what impacts people when they go to the grocery store, when they go to buy things, when they think about buying a car, when they think about buying a home. This does not impact the average American on a daily basis. Doesn't mean it's not an important issue. Doesn't mean it's not an important legal issue. But again, I think the more Democrats take their eye off the economic ball, which Donald Trump has given them a huge opening on with these tariffs, I think it's more politically risky.
I think, and to your point, I had someone this morning say, what's the big deal about this Maryland guy? Is it an important case, and why, and maybe what precedent does it set? So
it's just complicated to explain to people. He is illegal, but then in 2019, he was granted, a judge said that he couldn't be deported back to El Salvador, and the White House said it was a mistake, but that he's a bad guy. It's, anytime you have to do that much explaining, again, I'm not talking about morally. I'm talking about politically speaking. It just gets complicated and people tune out.
Yeah. So when it comes to his analysis on immigration, this dude is spot on. Not when it comes to the economy. Again, give it a year. Okay. When it comes to the economy, they'll be singing the same tune about how Democrats are making a bad move, being against Trump in his economy, right? Just give it another year. But on the immigration thing, spot on. Because if you look at the poll numbers, again, it's obvious that President Trump, the American people agree with what he's doing on this issue. Even CNN has to admit that, when it comes to immigration, Trump he's in a good place right now.
He's been doing. So let's stay here with this. Compare where he is on immigration to where Biden was. We know that this was why he leaned into immigration so much.
Yes, this is a big reason why. So take a look here. This is on immigration. What track are we on? The right track or the wrong track? Look in December. Look at the percentage who said we were on the wrong track. 62% of Americans when Joe Biden was in office, compared to just 14% who said that we were on the right track. Flash forward to April. Well, hello. 45% say we're on the right track compared to 42% who say we're on the wrong track. So in a big switcheroo from where we were back in January, the plurality of Americans say that the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy. Back in December when Joe Biden was president, the vast majority said that we were on the wrong track. Again, this points out that on the whole, Americans like where we're going on immigration policy under Donald Trump, which is very different from where we were under Joe Biden.
And comparing the kind of then and now and the progression over time, what about on the specific issue of deportations? I mean, compare maybe today Trump to first-term Trump.
Yeah, this, I think, is the big change. We were talking about changes in policy and how Americans want policy to be carried out. Deport all undocumented immigrants. Voters favoring the government trying to deport all 11 million of them. Back in 2016, just 38% of voters wanted the government to try to deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants. Compared to where we are in 2025, 56%, the majority, the American people have come a long way on this issue, much closer to Donald Trump. And I think that's a big part of the reason why Americans are increasingly saying the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy, and why Donald Trump's net approval rating on that issue is in the positive, very much unlike his first term.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Again, this is why what Nayib Bukele did with that Democrat senator is so genius to me, because again, it's already a losing issue for Democrats. I think that like them boohoo-whining and crying about trying to bring back an illegal to the United States, and Democrats trying to explain, aka lie to people and claim that the dude is legal, trying to say he's a father. This is why they lie so much, okay? Because again, everybody knows the dude is a citizen of El Salvador. He's here illegally. Regardless, Nayib Bukele putting out that imagery of the illegal, not in that jail cell, right? Not in that maximum security prison, but sipping margaritas with this Democrat senator. It takes away from the emotional and quote unquote moral, but it's not really moral. It is an emotional argument that Democrats are putting forth, because they're not going to win the political argument. So again, they're relying on the emotional, which is that this is a father and that he's being tortured. He could be dead. This prison has human rights issues, that, you know, he's in a slave camp. He's what they call it, a concentration camp, right? This is what they said. They try to say he's in a concentration camp. So when you put out this imagery of the illegal, not in any of those conditions, chilling, clean, right, look good, right, sitting with a Democrat senator drinking margaritas in El Salvador, while his constituents are literally suffering due to the crimes and heinous acts being done in his state of Maryland by illegals, it shows you that the Democrat priorities are out of line, okay? It just looks really, really, really bad. And Democrats are so dumb, they fall for this every time. I said a couple days ago when Nayib Bukele showed up to D.C., to the White House, I said Democrats are falling into a trap. This is a huge trap. And they're not going to win the PR battle on this. They're just not going to. They're not going to. So Nayib Bukele, who is a master marketer, basically just, again, pulled a great move, showing that, hey, the Democrats and their priorities is out of line, right? They are trying to break their necks to rescue an illegal immigrant that's chilling in his home, right? Chilling in his home. Chilling in his home country. He's doing just fine. So all that boohoo whining and crying, it kind of looks silly. It looks silly. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.